time for some reflection. So through all of those rounds of funding, which you've had quite a few, the key hires you talked about going from 20 employees to 180 employees, what would you say has been like the biggest mistake you made or biggest regret that you have from that time?
Well, let me give a sort of a semi cop out answer a little bit here. So there have been a lot of mistakes, and I'll share some. I'll talk more about probably some of the product mistakes early on, and where I've maybe overmanaged. I very rarely have felt like I've undermanaged. It's usually where I feel like I've overmanaged. But I will also say that as a leader, I'm really happy with where we are now as a company. I don't think we're perfect. We make a lot of mistakes all the time. Um, but if you're happy where you are at the moment, you do need to embrace a little bit some of the mistakes you made. And that's true in life as well. I mean, part of being happy with where you are now is recognizing that the mistakes you made and the associated learnings you had have contributed to your current state. So, I don't, I guess I don't have a lot of regrets just because I'm happy with what we're doing now as a company. I think we're making a tremendous difference in the lives of students and the schools that serve them. I will say where I've made mistakes mostly have been around, there have been some hiring mistakes, but much less of those and much more of just getting out of the way of people. I've said this before too. One thing I've thought about that wasn't obvious to me when we started the company, that most of us are happier in a particular stage in a company. There's a lot of people that are, I want to create the foundation of for the CRM or the foundation. I want to put in the first sales process, and I want to make this thing work. I want to put structure in this. But once there's structure and I have to start managing people, I may like it a little bit less. Or when I have to manage managers, that's another breaking point for a lot of us as leaders here. So one thing that I don't know if I'd say it's a mistake I've made, but I've probably encouraged people to stay at CampusLogic too long in some cases, or maybe kept people too long, when in fact, looking back, it was obvious to them that their superpower was in this like $0 to $1 million annual recurring revenue stage, where so many things go wrong in that stage, and they are just great. They're generalist and they are great at that thing, and they're utility players and they can do whatever. Or they're great in that $1 to $10 million annual recurring revenue, but once it starts getting bigger than that, they lose interest. And so I do think there's some semi-logical breaking spots where you start getting to, I have to manage more people than I really want to manage, so I want to get back into a smaller company. And that's not unhealthy. It can feel unhealthy when someone's leaving. It can feel hurtful when someone's leaving, but it's actually pretty healthy and pretty natural when you think about it. And so we shouldn't try too hard to make people stay or like fit into something that isn't comfortable for them or comfortable for the company. It slows their progress and development, and it slows the development of the company. So I think sometimes I probably have not been as thoughtful about that. The recognizing that some people just are more drawn to and have more value, and they're just happier at different sizes of companies and different stages of companies.